pretty much after this. Well, it's a new year, but you still rocking with the same folks. Welcome to Fifth Down Territory. And 2024 is going to be a big year for us. Stay tuned, but we are previewing the last regular week of the NFL. It's playoff season, or mock draft season, depending on who your team is. But today we're going to be pushing some of our end of year agendas. You're going to hear a lot of bias in this one. Blake is not joining us tonight, so you're spared of all your Bills drama. But as always, Fit Down Territory is presented by Stadium Rant. Check out our website, stadiumrant.com. Sign up for the newsletter. Check out some articles. Check out Fantasy Rant. There's all kinds of great content out there that you guys don't want to miss. Upcoming exclusive Senior Bowl content, I think, next month. So we got a lot of stuff cooking, guys, so stick around. Yeah. What a season it's been.
Yeah. Absolutely. It feels so long. It feels like it takes so long to get to the NFL season and the off season. And then you're in the NFL season, and then it's like this. We're in the off season again.
It's like yesterday I was starving. I was watching preseason games, hoping to see just a couple snaps of Tank Dell or somebody. And then here we are. Playoff implication, primetime game Saturday night. Primetime game Sunday night with playoff implications. Winning in time, baby. No more speculating. Do or go home for a lot of teams this week. As it should be.
Yeah, right. Week 18 is supposed to bring you good games. It's not supposed to just be here we are again. You know what I mean? We're playing with essentially a spring football roster. That's not what Week 18 is supposed to be. Week 18 is supposed to be you win, you get in. We want more football, but we want more good football. That's what it's all about. Couple of really interesting scenarios, honestly. These we can get into it more probably next week once it's finalized. But Joe Flacco has a chance to go play the Ravens in the playoffs. And if he knocks the Ravens off, that would be an incredible story. And actually further both of our agendas. Do you want to hit them with your first one?
So my first agenda, low key, is that Joe Flacco might be a Hall of Famer, and I'm leaning more every day that he is probably a Hall of Famer. Never won a regular MVP, right? That's fine. But he played during the Brady era. He won a Super Bowl. He won a Super Bowl MVP. His all-time record is really good. He's got a lot of the stats that you look for: passing yards, touchdowns, all that jazz. I don't know. You guys sound off in the comments and let us know what you think. But I think there's a real chance that we're talking I don't think he's a first ballot, but he might get in one year, and I would not begrudge it.
No, I think to add to that resume, my agenda kind of ties in. One of my agendas ties into your agenda here. He absolutely should win Comeback Player of the Year. Absolutely should win Comeback Player of the Year. I get the DeMar Hamlin thing. I understand the story and all the aspects behind it. He has 2 tackles on the season. 2 tackles on the season. He doesn't play. He is there. I am so happy that he's okay and still being being able to stay active and be alive, essentially. But the Comeback Player of the Year is somebody who needs to come back and play in the game. Joe Flacco came off the couch and has thrown for 4 consecutive 300-yard passing games. That's insane. With the quarterback play, huh?
I saw a stat that he said he came back and threw for more 300-yard games than Justin Fields has in his entire career.
This is true.
So in 4 games, he did that over, this guy that we're talking about, he might be it. He's going to get traded or he's going to be a star or whatever. So, Joe Flacco, I'm going to read you guys some stats. Let's take a minute. And so I got to publicly admit this, right? I was up at my in-laws for Christmas before the Browns-Texans game, and my father-in-law asked me, and he said, "Hey, you worried about this Browns game?" And I was like, "Yeah, I don't really think we're going to win it. Going to be pretty defensive-heavy matchup. Like, their defense is better than ours. Like, CJ's not playing, probably going to lose." And he's like, "Well, you're not worried about Joe Flacco?" And I was like, "No, I'm not worried about the." I said this. I said, "I'm not worried about the ghost of Joe Flacco." They literally went to the graveyard and dug my man's up, put him out there on the field. He's got the pocket presence of my grandma, who I see once a year. She has dementia, and he absolutely dunked on us. So my tune has changed. I was humbled. I spoke that evil into the world, and I had to sit there. I watched that whole game until they cut away from it. Yeah.
We were talking about it a little bit off air, but it's really interesting that Joe Flacco is the guy who comes in and unlocks the Kevin Stefanski offense.
Yeah. And I think that's just something to be said for how veteran quarterbacks or guys who have been in the league for a long time actually play into a scheme, whereas some guys try to play their own style. And I think that's really a big issue with the Browns right now is Watson wants to play Deshaun Watson football, which is good. But Kevin Stefanski has a good scheme, and that's being shown by the fact that Joe Flacco's putting up 35 points on these teams,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So a little bit of a fantasy aspect for it. Once Flacco took over, Amari Cooper went from being the wide receiver 18, I believe, to the time that Flacco had played to the wide receiver 1. So in that stretch, he was the wide receiver 1.
Which
in
is
the
absurd.
same stretch, David Njoku was the tight end 2. Before that, he was the tight end 9. Up until that point. I'm not saying that's where they end at the ending ranking, but then during this stretch, with all three of them healthy playing together, is elite and scary in this scheme.
And this is with backup tackles. And so this kind of gets into my
Jerome Ford.
Kevin Stefanski, it might be coach of the year. I think should be coach of the year. It's him. I'm a Texans fan. You see the sign back there. It's him or it's Steichen to me. I think both those guys did an amazing job with backup quarterbacks. And I think they've really put together something that it's really hard to match. Like even teams with all of their players aren't holding up to the standard that these guys are setting with backup QBs, which is just
the interesting thing that you say about Steichen. I heard this stat today. Gardner Minshew has 15 wins in his career, and over 40% of them have come in this season with Steichen.
Yeah. Well, yeah, people are telling me,
what is that?
Gardner Minshew is he's insulated Steichen, or it's the best backup they could have hoped for. Don't sell me that garbage. There's no
He's a gamer. That's
he's
for
a
sure.
gamer. He slings it, but I mean, Steichen's really built this system well to protect that position, and I think those two guys, and I think Philly's regression also kind of speaks to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Play calling and just you just kind of look at it why doesn't this look like it did before?
So back to my Flacco Hall of Fame candidate, okay? Super Bowl win, Super Bowl MVP, 43. He'll have 44,000 before the season's out. Career passing yards, 245 touchdowns to 155 interceptions. Career passer rating of 84.2, which isn't great, but his win-loss is 103 to 85. So dude's played in almost 200 games. He's thrown for 44,000 yards. He won a Super Bowl and a Super Bowl MVP. I don't know. We talk about dudes all the time getting in, who don't have Super Bowls but have normal MVPs. I don't know. I think you could make the case he gets in.
I'm a big Super Bowl or bust type of guy, so I think Flacco it should be a Hall of Fame. I agree, not first ballot, maybe second.
Depends on the year.
Second ballot.
The year that he
ends up retiring.
Yeah, sometimes that matters.
Yeah, no, also, I definitely agree.
Johnson belongs in the Hall of Fame, and no one will convince me otherwise.
I agree with that.
He
was doing it with whack quarterback play most of his career too. Dude was elite for sure.
All right, let's talk to you about the Rookie of the Year.
I mean, so I understand C.J. Stroud. He brought a 3-win team to on the verge of a win-and-in situation this weekend.
It is a win-in situation this weekend.
Yeah, so you guys are on the verge for the playoffs. So in a win and in situation is what I meant to say. I do have to say though, like I do believe Puka Nacua should be in this race. Like if not a front runner. He has 101 catches for 1,445 yards and 5 touchdowns. Like you don't see that from rookie wide receivers very often, I don't think, especially not ones without like a first round draft capital. He has kept the Los Angeles Rams afloat during Cooper Kupp's kind of injury like issues. Like he hasn't been at full speed for most of this season, I would say, because he came back, kind of got more banged up, and Cooper Kupp won the Triple Crown a couple of years ago, and this guy is taking away targets from him because he is playing at such a high level of football. You take Puka Nacua off of this Rams team, they're probably a bottom of the barrel type of team, I would say, without his type of production and just overall being, I don't know, just being there. That's kind of what I think. I understand Stroud, QB. You see what they are with him, what they are without him. We haven't really got to see what the Rams are without Nacua this season.
Here's my knock, right? We say we don't know what the Rams are without Puka and all that. Like, I get it. Here's my argument. Sean McVay is the best offensive mind in the NFL. That's my firm belief. So Puka's playing in the best offensive scheme in the league.
Mm-hmm.
He's playing as a wide receiver 2 against a very electric elite wide receiver 1 some games, right? So he's not always playing against the number 1 corner. And also he's playing with a Hall of Fame quarterback who has produced who just puts up numbers. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, it's not like, oh, like, yes, Puka's good, right? I'm not taking away from the fact that Puka is good. Yeah. But I'm saying when you're playing with the guy who's going to break these records like 3 times, right? He made Calvin Johnson. Not saying he made these guys.
Yeah, you got to rephrase that one.
I'm rephrasing that. He didn't make Calvin Johnson, but he helped Calvin Johnson, right, become the all-time receiving yard leader. He helped Cooper Kupp win the Triple Crown, and now he's going to help Puka become, right, the all-time rookie receiving leader. So how much of it is Puka and how much of it is Matt Stafford? You know, how many guys given that same situation opportunity would put up similar numbers? That's all I'm saying.
I would say that, I mean, I think his average depth of target is quite low, to be honest. He gets a lot of targets. You got to fact check me on this, but this is just like watching him play. I don't have the stats up in front of me, but it seems like he gets put in a lot of short yardage situations, and he makes the most of it by breaking tackles and getting yards after the catch. He's faster than people think. He's an excellent run blocker too. Some of the times that annoy me in fantasy is sitting there like, why is Kyron Williams scoring? It's because Puka's standing up the dude on the edge there, like because he's an excellent run blocker. So he does the little things well. He's not I don't know. This isn't really help his case for offensive rookie of the year, but he's not really a diva. You don't really hear him say anything other than like it's just this cool like. What did he get drafted in the 6th round? I believe he was a 6th round draft pick. Yeah. So it's really refreshing to see that type of player come from that type of area and have this type of season.
Yeah,
I think
so. Let me also
be rewarded for it.
Counter and say I think if you're gonna pivot away from CJ, who I believe is just a lock at this point, he's broken too many records. He's got multiple spots in Canton already, just because of what he's done. His I mean, that's factual. I think he's got 2 or 3 game balls in there already.
Yeah.
He broke longest pass attempts without an interception. He broke rookie passing yard in a game record and something else, I think. At least those 2. Jahmyr Gibbs, I think, is going to put up an argument for rookie of the year as well. Because 14 games played, he's got 915 rushing yards, 9 touchdowns. He's got 52 receptions. So he, as a running back, has how how many receptions did you say Puka had?
101.
101. So he's got over half of his receptions as a running back, 316 yards, and another touchdown. So he's got 10 touchdowns, well over 1,000 all-purpose yards, almost 1,300 all-purpose yards. And he's in a timeshare. He's not even like a featured back. You know what I mean? So I think that's comparable to a wide receiver to say, okay, he's splitting targets with Cooper Kupp. Jahmyr Gibbs is splitting carries and targets with, Montgomery. Yeah. And also receivers. So I do think
ultimately that's why CJ Stroud's going to win the offensive rookie of the year, because he doesn't split time with anybody. I just wanted to push me and Puka, we have some history, and as you well know, if you want to pull up the September shows, you can roll the tape. Puka, Puka fan.
He's eating breakfast with Matt Stafford. Take this kid in every league, and he was right.
I didn't think I was going to be this right, to be honest, but
yeah, Theo
even when people were like, "Oh, Cooper Kupp's going to come back and he's going to take away all those targets," I was like, "All right, Cooper Kupp comes back." Then Puka settles into the Robert Woods role, which is a really, really good role for an NFL wide receiver, and he's taken that role and elevated it past what Robert Woods has ever done. Like, maybe not. I think Woods had more touchdowns a couple of years, but you weren't seeing Robert Woods put up 1,445 yards.
No.
So also Robert Woods, big stan of him as well. I love me some Bobby Trees. Don't get me that. Don't get that twisted. So yeah. Interesting conversation though. There's valid points for all three of those players. It's been a really solid year for rookies, and if Arthur Smith wasn't the coach of the Falcons, we'd be talking about Bijan Robinson right now too.
Oh, absolutely.
Sam Laporta? Sam Laporta?
Yeah. My Sam, don't get me wrong. I love Sam Laporta. I think your biggest issue with tight ends is they just block too much, which is so integral to the game. But
we're both messing up words tonight.
Yeah, you're not gonna find that on those stat sheets. Like, it doesn't pop, and that's what they look for. It'd be so hard for a tight end to win that award. I would really like to see the NFL go to kind of like a college award style, have these big awards, and then have individual awards like you were the best player at your position in the league on a given year.
Yeah, I feel that.
You were the best lineman. You were the best coverage corner. You were the best ball hawk corner. You were the best wide receiver in the league. Whatever.
Well, let's not go coverage ball hawk. You're the best corner. Sure. I think is like because then it feels a little participation-y trophy type of style there.
Well, okay. I'm going to defend this though. Like, how do you say, all right, I don't think Deron Bland is the best corner in the NFL, but also putting 42 points on the board or whatever he's done, right? So he's not the best corner, but also no other corner in the league has put up 42 points this year.
This is true.
So it's like, how do you differentiate those things? They're different styles.
Yeah, I get that. I just like that. It just almost dilutes the trophy thing.
So maybe
I understand that aspect.
Yeah, I think the NFL needs to implement some kind of, like college football has the Blitz-Inkoff Award
for wide receiver. The Fred Blitz-Inkoff Award.
And they've got awards for different positions, and I think that makes a lot of sense for the NFL because MVP's quarterback, right? So you don't even have to change that one.
Yeah, no, if Cooper Kupp didn't win it when he won the Triple Crown, if Tyreek Hill or CMC is not going to win it now, no,
Derrick Henry didn't win it when he went for 2K yards,
Nope. Yep. And he was the most valuable player on that team. Nobody else don't get that confused either. And then they went ahead and paid Ryan Tannehill and not Derrick Henry.
Not AJ Brown.
Right before they traded AJ Brown for Treylon Burks. That's why their general manager's fired right now. But yeah, so I think we did a pretty good job pushing some agendas there. Bahuki wanted us to say that he has a Rasul Douglas and what's it called? Agenda to push that he's a top 5 zone cornerback, but there you go, diluting the top 5.
I think
it's a very interesting wording there.
I think you can make the case that he might have been the best trade deadline acquisition. I think that might be fair. I'm trying to think back at what happened, and he seems like the most impactful player that was moved because the Bills, I think, got significantly better on defense after that trade.
Yep.
But if he was the best, if he was a top 5 zone corner or whatever you want to call it, he would have been that good on the Packers too, and he really wasn't.
Yeah.
So
he was okay on the Packers. I also just Joe Brady. No, who's the Packers defensive coordinator?
oh yeah,
Barry. He is not. He is not. I'm not a fan of his.
Joe
I don't know
Barry.
how many first. Yeah, Joe Barry. I don't know how many first round draft picks you can acquire on your defense and still just not have a good defense.
That guy has
but yeah,
inexcusable
he has to.
performances from the Packers to all the cheeseheads out there. You know, at least you got quarterback play every year for the last since my dad was born.
Yeah, but it's literally been like 30 years, give or take.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, let's go to the game picks.
Let's get into it. Week 18, last week before playoffs. So Saturday afternoon, you've probably got what's likely not going to be a very good game. Steelers-Ravens. My anticipation, correct me if I'm wrong here, but Ravens aren't starting their stars most likely here because they've already clinched one seed, right?
I think Malik Cunningham's going to start. And if he plays well, I'm going to be pretty pissed. Just got to say that up front. I'd be super happy for Cunningham, but just like really frustrated in my team for just sitting there, playing around with it.
With their win over the Dolphins, the Ravens are more than one game removed, so they will like you're not going to see Lamar, you're not going to see Zay Flowers, you're not going to see I don't know.
Isaiah Likely?
You're probably not going to see Likely, maybe a little bit. I think he's proven his point. So yeah, I have Steelers in this game because they're still going to be starting. You know, it's going to be Mason Rudolph still playing really well, which is a shock. Seems like the weirdest development, like Kenny Pickett. It's going to be weird if Kenny Pickett can't take that job back this offseason. Like, that's going to be awkward because they're not in a position to draft somebody. I don't think, given some recent performances, I'm not sure somebody's going to fall. And the Steelers just don't trade up, really. I can't remember a time where they've made a significant move upward. Like, even to get Kenny Pickett, they wouldn't move up.
So, I gotta say this about that whole situation is I feel like they were hamstringing Kenny Pickett with the Matt Canada offense for a long time there. He played pretty well in the game without Canada and then got hurt. And then they brought in Trubisky. Trubisky didn't look good because they weren't trying to not force the ball, but they weren't pushing the ball downfield as much. They were trying to like reel it all back in. Then when they put Rudolph out there, they were like, screw it. What do we have to lose? Start chucking the ball, start opening the offense.
Give him 1,050 balls to George Pickens.
George Pickens can catch a decent amount of them at this point. You know what I mean? It's just so. I think if they get they're probably going to be in the market for an offensive coordinator. I don't know if they'll keep what they have right now. And if that person's willing to open up the offense and let the skill players do what they are able to do, then I think Kenny Pickett shouldn't have a problem getting that job back. I am going to pick the Ravens, even with all their starters not out. This is a divisional game. John Harbaugh is still coaching this team, as far as I know. They don't want to see the Steelers in the playoffs as far as divisional standards go. So I think that a lot of these guys are going to get up for this game. The Ravens are one of those teams as well that have a lot of players that you may never have heard of, but they play really, really hard and they're coached really, really well. And this is just a classic Steelers, everybody's going to pick the Steelers type of game, and the Steelers don't win it to not get into the playoffs. Mike Tomlin gets his over 500. He's never been below 500, but I don't think he gets into the playoffs. So sorry to all your Steelers fans out there. I just don't think that they got it this week. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay. Blake is also taking the Steelers. He's going to copy my whole flow.
Yeah, of course he is.
And then what does Shane have?
God damn it, guys. Shane has the Steelers as well. He basically said the Ravens are sitting most of their players, and the Steelers are pushing for a wild card spot. So
He basically said, I respect the hell out of Mike Tomlin.
yeah,
He
that's
says every
exactly
time.
what happened.
Can't pick against him. Respect the hell out of him.
And yeah, so that's our Steelers Ravens. I think that's a pretty. I think that I just said what I think. I just think that this is a classic game that everybody thinks the Steelers are going to win, and that's why I don't believe the Steelers are going to win.
It's crazy. We'll see.
Real,
we'll see.
Real big trap game.
Steelers lose. Who gets in?
Maybe the
Now I have to
Colts.
look. Hang on.
There's a lot of teams in that logjam right now.
Okay, so right now, oh come on, give me the whole conference. Don't break it down by. Okay, so yeah, Steelers are 9-7. Bengals are 8-8.
I think the Bengals are mathematically eliminated.
I don't think they are.
I mean, I saw that last week.
Maybe I'm wrong. Raiders are out. Chargers are out. Broncos, I think, still have a chance.
Yep, they still have a chance.
So Bills, Broncos, Steelers, Jags, Colts, Texans are all pushing. So I guess maybe any myriad of things can happen there. But I think the loser of Texans, Colts, which is the next game we can talk about because that's Saturday night, I think the loser of that game's out either way. A miracle of things that have happened for both those teams to get in. I'm taking the Texans in this one. They didn't play the Colts well earlier, mostly because I think they did a lot of game prepping for Anthony Richardson, and they ended up playing Gardner Minshew. But this defense has been getting incredibly better. Stroud's back, coming off a concussion with very little prep, had a fantastic game against the Titans. Effortless looking game against, not a good team, but that's it's
a hard-nosed team. It's a hard-nosed team, not a good team.
I like the Texans to get in because I just don't feel like this Colts team, they're kind of held together with Band-Aids right now. And without your starting quarterback, I just don't see you making a lot of noise in the playoffs. And so I think the Texans are going to make for a better wild card matchup. So I have them, and that's what I want. Obviously, I want to happen, but I think it's better TV either way.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I just think the Texans are a slightly better team. I think it's pretty close. And if Anthony Richardson was playing, this would be one hell of a game to watch. I still think it's going to be a good game to watch because, like I said before, Gardner Minshew's been a gamer, but I don't think that he can string together another. It's just at some point the rug's going to come out from underneath him, and he's going to have one of those games where you're just like, why do we have Gardner Minshew as our starting quarterback right now?
Yeah.
So yeah, give me the Texans, give me CJ Stroud.
Yeah. Well, also I like the Texans defensive line has finally regressed back towards the mean as far as pressure to sack rate or pass rush win rate into
Will Anderson.
Let me read you this stat line. So everybody, I'm sure some people know, if you follow me, I've been tweeting the crap out of it. He got 2 sacks last game. He played 12 snaps.
They were back to back.
He played 12 snaps. He had 6 pressures, 3 QB hits, and 2 sacks. In 12 snaps, which is he had a 58% pass rush win rate that game on 12 snaps, which is unholy. So if him and Grenard,
whoever the left tackle was for Tennessee last week, he got swim moved so bad. He was just like, where am I? Where is he? I don't know. Quarterback. So Will Levis on the ground. Oh no. Or Ryan Tannehill at that point. I don't know which one was playing last week. I think it was Levis. I think Levis got hurt subsequently after one of those plays, to be honest. So
yeah. So I'm taking the Texans here. Blake is also taking the Texans here.
Shane is also taking the Texans as well.
Wow. So I don't feel good about it now. I don't feel good.
Again, it's a Colts team that likes to prove people wrong.
I've got PTSD from the Colts from all those games where T.Y. Hilton would come in and put up like 180 yards. in his clown mask.
Yeah.
All right.
He was a good player.
He was a good player, underrated. All right, next we've got Jaguars Titans. I want to pick the Titans so badly in this matchup, but I can't. I think they're a bad team fundamentally. So I am going to take the Jaguars to lock up the division here, as the Colts and Texans, or whoever the winner of that game is, falls one game short of a division crown.
I'm also gonna take the Jags here. I do think this though. I think they've pushed Trevor Lawrence a little too hard this year to play through some stuff, and my hope is that they play C.J. Beathard in this game, even if they lose, and don't make the playoffs and don't win the like. I don't think that Trevor Lawrence is 100%. He wants to play, but like at the same time, if you're not 100% and you get hurt worse, you could like really hurt your career. That's just not something that I am interested in seeing. I don't think anybody else is. So I hope they start Bethard. And I think that their defense is good enough to play against this Titans offense. So
yes, I agree with that. Yeah, it feels very Andrew Luck-ish, and I just don't think you can keep rolling him out there in good faith. Like at some point, it doesn't.
Who's their tackle? Who's their big tackle? Juwan
No, Juwan Jennings is a tight end for the Saints.
Yeah, that's not correct.
Where's Shane? He's our offensive line guy.
Yeah, I know. We're gonna have to reprimand him.
Cam Robinson.
Cam Robinson got activated off the IR and should be playing this week.
Good,
so I think
Walker Little is not good.
Nope. That offensive line has kind of crumbled over the back half of the year, and they can't run the ball. That's going to be an issue.
Which Jeffrey Simmons, I mean, running the ball against the Titans when all their defensive linemen in is probably the hardest thing to do. But I think Christian Kirk is coming back for this game. So
really? I didn't know that.
I think so. I think he's about to be activated. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But
Shane has the Jags as well. He kind of agreed. Like we have the same kind of mindset on here. Like he's afraid that the Jags are playing Lawrence a little too soon. But he knows that there's a win and in, so he predicts him to play. And I just think that they're like, I think the Titans are just cooked through this time. Like they're at this time of year, like they got blown out last week by you guys, and it's just I feel like that was the sucker punch there.
Yeah, seeing Vrabel's press conference though, I mean, he's gonna have them boys playing right to the bell for it. He's not arresting anybody. He's not buying into this. Time to look towards next year. He said losing effing sucks to a reporter who asked him why he's playing meaningful starters in this game. That was his answer. So part of me was like, seeing that comment, I was like, is this Titans upset week? Like, that's a crazy quote.
Yeah, that'd be wild. Blake had the Jags, correct?
Yeah, Blake had the Jags. Of course, he's going to pick safe, protect that lead. All right, I got Lions-Vikings in this next game. I'm also kind of wondering about this one, right? Because I don't think Lions are really going to start their studs. I don't know who they would be catching at this point. Because they're locked at this point in division. I don't think they move up.
I don't trust whoever's starting.
I take that back. They're 11-5, and the Cowboys are 11-5 as well. So I think they can move from the 3 seed to the 2 seed. So they probably are playing starters in this. So
I'm taking the Lions as well. I don't trust Nick Mullins. I don't trust Jaron Hall. I don't trust Josh Dobbs.
I don't know why we moved off of Josh Dobbs. He is clearly
neither do I.
They've been putting out there. Like he had a couple bad games. Okay. He also had a couple good games, and none of these other guys have come close to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree. It made no sense of why they started Nick Mullins out there. Or Jaron Hall, not good either.
One of the weirdest decisions I have disagreed with by Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah, I typically agree with O'Connell. I think he's a pretty good coach. I think he's just trying to pull levers on that team right now, and I don't think that they're the right ones. TJ Hawkinson's out for the year. It's not a good situation for them. So yeah, give me the Lions here. Just to keep rolling. Like Dan Campbell, I don't think he's one of these like Mike Vrabel. He's not going to be like, I want this game like that. That's like the
Yeah.
Lions don't see a lot of wins typically before this past like couple years, so they might as well stack them as much as they can now. You know?
Yeah, they're fighting for it.
Yeah. So all right. So what's it called? Shane has the Vikings. He said that Detroit's locked into the 3 seed. We may only see a couple of starters play. Yeah. So they're the key players to the Vikings are kind of looking to have it on a high note, like end the season on a high note. I don't think that they will.
I don't know. I understand his concept, but if he's assuming the Cowboys win, which I think is a safe assumption. But I don't think you rest starters knowing you can move up a seed still, like if something happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, all right.
Bahuki is what?
Yeah, Bahuki's on the Lions as well.
Okay.
Next, we've got Falcons Saints in a game that I don't think freaking anybody wants to watch.
But matters.
But matters. But matters. So I'm taking the Saints in this one.
Okay.
I just think they've been playing good overall. And I just don't trust Arthur Smith. I know he puts together one good game and you want to be like, oh, finally, they get it. No.
They don't get anything.
They don't get it.
I am heartily picking against Arthur Smith in this one. I do not like what I've seen from the Saints on tape. Like, it's just bland to me from the Saints. But screw Arthur Smith. I am taking the Saints still. But I think it's just been a bunch of blandness from them. I don't see anything that's really impressed me. But I see a lot of things that like make me want to throw up in my mouth from Atlanta. So yeah, give like Arthur Smith's the reason why I didn't win my home league as well. So yeah,
money escapes.
Big $2,000. What Blake takes? Saints. Let me see here. Shane also takes the Saints. Yeah, it's just the Falcons aren't playing good football.
Yeah. So next we have your team and the Jets. Pats, Jets. I am taking the Jets in this one. I'm gonna go against the grain a little bit. I think Breece Hall's really gonna have a game. He had a really good game against the Commanders. I think they're kind of seeing that, hey, this works, and they're going to keep feeding him. And I know that you got the quarterback carousel and all this junk. I just think that the Patriots have lost too many people. I think it's a bit of a lost cause for them. So I'm going to take the Jets to win that one.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Pats in hoping that I can reverse Juju it so we lose this game. Because if we win and things don't fall right, we drop from this possibly the 2nd overall pick to 10th. And dude, oh my God, would I be frustration if that happened? Like just general overall frustration in my part if that's what goes down. And I'm like mentally preparing myself for that exact scenario.
Yes. That's kind of where when I'm in those situations, I'm like, man, what if I laid like 20 units on the Colts? Like, how much am I willing to be like, oh, like how much money would make me feel better if the Texans lose? Put that on the Colts money line, and then be like, okay, my team lost, but I just made $300, or I paid $300, but I get to watch Texans playoffs. Kind of got sometimes you got to do it to yourself.
Mm-hmm. No, that's where I'm going with this. The Pats only because I want to juju it into a different. Like I want bad juju on this team to lose. No injuries, but I want them to lose. Just lose.
Bahuki is taking the Pats, unironically.
Yep.
So
Shane is also taking the Pats. So
I'm I'm the only Jets believer here.
Apparently.
I just think, I just watched the tape on Bailey Zappi throwing 3 picks in his last game or whatever it was. 3 picks and a pick 6, I think. So 4 technically.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, if he did that against, who did you guys play?
The Bills.
Yeah. Okay. The Bills are good. Jets defense, also very good. So you're telling me Sauce or DJ Reed or who's that ball hawking safety that they have? you know.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I mean, when we played them, and I think it was week 3, it was 15-10, and the Jets still almost won. At that point, they threw a Hail Mary that touched Randall Cobb's fingertips.
Yeah.
I think the Jets kind of like if they can kick the ball out to Brees Young in the flat, the Pats really really struggle with like mobile passing, or I'm sorry, not mobile, but like receiving threats out of the backfield. So if they can kind of work the ball to Brees Hall in space, it's going to be an issue, and I hope it is. So we can
Okay.
move on from that.
All right, Bucks Panthers is next. I
Bucks.
think it's an easy Bucks. Yeah. I don't
Bucks.
think anybody's going to pick anything else. They got shut out in the Jaguar Stadium, and I don't know. I don't know what's going on with this Panthers team, but it feels like this
They're not
season.
good. Did you see Dave Temper threw a drink at a fan from the owner's box?
He got fined over $300,000 for that. So
Yeah, like dude, you're a scumbag. Like I don't care how much money you have. That's a dude who paid to come see your team play football, and you're gonna throw stuff at him. You're actually gonna throw a drink at that dude. You're a
look,
scumbag, dude.
we got Snyder fired. So NFL, get this dude fired too.
Get him out of the NFL. Like I have zero tolerance for that. Like the fans who pay for the fans who pay for these games and pay for the merchandise and pay for all of that stuff. That's what you guys play for, essentially. In my opinion, I mean, I get it's livelihoods and stuff like that, but if you're an NFL owner, you have your livelihood. It's fine. You have plenty of money. You shouldn't be doing that. You should act accordingly. So yeah.
So Bryce Young honestly might at this point just be broken. Like I'm not giving up on him, but this is a tough season to put a rookie through. Like it's going to hurt his confidence, I think, and hopefully he can find a way to bounce back. Right? We're all hoping that for him, but at some point it's tough. It's tough to overcome some of that.
Shane has the Bucks as well. I think Bahuki has the Bucks.
Yeah, Boogie's got the Bucks. So, all right, moving on. We're going to the Browns Bengals, which I think is another interesting matchup. I think the Browns are going to rest starters. Maybe.
Do they have? Yeah, I don't think they could move up seeding.
They're locked into a wild card spot at 11-5.
Yeah.
No other team. I guess the Dolphins technically are 11-5, and if they lose to the Bills, I don't know that they would have common tiebreakers against the Browns. I'm genuinely not sure how that works.
Yeah, I don't know.
So maybe they'll play.
I'm taking the Browns either way, to be honest. Taking the Browns either way. The Bengals are. I am almost positive they can't make the playoffs due to how tight the race is right now. You already have Jake Browning in there, and I think he's played well. He played well against Kansas City. I just think that when you get down to it, I don't think he's enough. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, I'm going to take the Browns here too. I think even with their backups, DTR. I think I don't know. This Bengals team, the magic is worn off. The ugly, the insanity runs always end.
Mm-hmm.
Tommy DeVito, nice story. It ends. Josh Dobbs, nice Cinderella story. It ends. And this, this guy played good. What's his name? It's not Simeon. He's
Jake Browning.
Jake Browning, thank you. He played well. I think he's still playing well. I just don't think there's enough pieces on this team without Joe Burrow to push, to elevate. And so I'm going to take the Browns here too.
Which is weird because they have maybe the top two receiving tandem in the league. You know what I mean? But it just comes down to it. Like if you don't have the dude who can get them the ball, how good are they going to be?
Yeah. Bahooki's taking the Browns as well.
Shane is also taking the Browns, but he says that Jake Browning's kind of played himself into a serious backup role, like into a nice contract for next year. Then he goes, Joe Flacco is playing like the second coming of Nick Foles, and they have one of the league's best defenses. So,
Yep. All right. Next we have Bears-Packers, which is, I think, going to be a really interesting game because Jordan Love just put on a clinic against the Vikings, and Justin Fields playing for his job.
Fields put on a clinic against the Falcons.
Topsy-turvy world.
In the snow.
I'm betting on Justin Fields in this one. I'm taking the Bears.
Okay.
Couldn't tell you why.
The Packers are still in the hunt for that last seed. I'm pretty sure the 7th seed in the playoffs.
They're not eliminated yet.
So I'm going to give the Packers the nod here. I think Aaron Jones played one of his best games of the season against the Vikings. If his offensive contributions are back on this team, that gives them that second kind of element instead of Jordan Love just dropping back and throwing the ball. But I will say that Matt LaFleur, I really, it's a refreshing way to watch a team play offense, this Packers team. Sometimes some people may think it's a little aggressive, but first play of the game, the Vikings game, they run a play action, throw a ball 45 yards down the field to Jaden Reed. Didn't complete it, but you're showing right away that you aren't going to be like conservative, really. You're willing to drop back and heave that ball deep, which can open up your run game, can open up the short passing game because people are on their heels because of that first type of play call. So I think Jordan Love's just a really good player. I think he's going to be a really good quarterback in this league. I think that there's a lot of trust there, and I really, really, really enjoy all of the Packers' young wide receivers. Like, they're all of them from top to bottom.
Jaden Reed's a baller. Romeo Doubs, baller.
Christian Watson, if he played, really good player. Even Dontavian Wicks, Malik Heath, Bo Melton, all three of those dudes have had meaningful games in this season. Even with not having any sort of draft capital or anything like that. They've played really well for what they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Tucker Kraft, third tight end on the team, coming in playing for Luke Musgrave, injured. So they also have, like I said at the beginning of this, ton of first round draft picks on that defense as well. Jair Alexander didn't play last week, and they still locked up Justin Jefferson. So yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy. Okay. But he has Packers on this one as well. Did you take Packers or Bears?
I took the Packers, which is unlike me because I'm a big fan of what the Bears have done in the second half of the season. Shane is taking the Bears as well.
Me and Shane. That means I picked wrong, but that's okay.
He's basically saying that Fields has kind of had a resurgence at the end of the year. Their defense has also turned it around with the addition of Montez Sweat. He's taking the Bears. I want to take the Bears here. I know they're eliminated from playoff contention, so I think the Packers are going to play a little harder in this game. I
think Justin Fields is auditioning for his job and for the fact that he wants like Marvin Harrison Jr. or the best left tackle in this draft. He wants to stay, and the fans want him to stay. The players want him to stay. The analysts say no. So
the mock draft that I just finished, I had the Bears trading the number 1 overall pick to the Las Vegas Raiders for 2 firsts. I'm sorry, 1 first this year. I'm sorry. No, it was 1 first this year. Yeah, the 11th pick. Did 2 seconds, 1 this year, 1 next year, and Max Crosby.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's like the Bears still reload their defense. They have Sweat and Crosby, and they keep Fields. They had a 2nd round wide receiver. All of a sudden, like, that team's cooking with gas. Like,
they still have luck
playing
first. They could put, take a guaranteed left tackle, or you could take an elite wide receiver there still.
Yeah, I think I had them taking. I think I had them taking Kool-Aid McKinstry, the cornerback, and pairing him with Jalen Johnson, and really just being like, "Yo, we're the Chicago Bears. Let's go play some defense and add that kind of ass. Like Justin Fields doesn't have to put up 30 a game because you can't score on us." But yeah, that's kind of what I have the Bears doing. So interesting thing. I'm gonna write an article about that.
Another pass rusher goes to the Bears from. Wait, that's where Khalil was for a while, right? Or am I crossing my wires here?
He went to he went.
I'm not crazy. He was a Bear, right?
Vegas,
he went to the Bears from Vegas,
Chicago, LA. Vegas, Chicago, LA. Yeah. You're right.
I'm sorry, on the Chargers. Yeah, so they would be giving the Bears another elite pass rusher. Would be crazy.
Mm-hmm. So I just think that I don't think Max Crosby's all that happy in Las Vegas right now. Personally,
I don't know. Yeah. All right. So who does Shane have? He's got the Bears as well. You said.
Yeah, he has the Bears. Right. So Shane and Bahuki have the Bears, or Shane and you have the Bears. Me and Bahuki have the Packers.
Next is Cowboy Commanders. Cowboys next.
Cowboys. Yep, Cowboys all around.
Cowboys. Why would you pick anything else? It makes no sense. The Commanders look bad. Cowboys look good.
And Commanders are bad. Are bad.
Okay. Broncos Raiders. I'm taking the Broncos in this one.
With Jared Stidham?
I am taking the Broncos with Jared Stidham. Yep.
I'm taking the Raiders. They just beat the Chiefs with Aiden O'Connell on that team. I know
but the Chiefs they didn't throw.
Yeah, they didn't score on offense. But if you can make Patrick Mahomes if you can return a fumble for a touchdown and a pick for a touchdown against Patrick Mahomes, I'm pretty sure you can do something similar to Jared Stidham.
I guess that's true. I just I don't know why.
I get it.
This feels like a Broncos random win here, like a Sean Payton masterclass to prove everybody about this whole unfortunate Russell Wilson thing.
I don't know if the Broncos players want to play for Sean Payton right now after this Russell Wilson thing. After all the things that come out.
So I think they'll play for that.
Okay. What's Bahuki have?
He has the Raiders on this one.
Shane also has the Raiders. You're trying to separate.
This is my upset of the week. I was trying to include one, and this is the one that I just feel like, I don't know. I just have a feel. I'm always wrong, but this is the one that lock it in for the Raiders money line. All right. Next week, Eagles Giants, and I was low key tempted to pick an upset here too. But here's my hot take: Eagles beat the Giants. They finished with an abysmal record, and I think Brian Daboll gets fired.
Wow. He's such a bad decision.
I agree.
Such a classic Giants move to do that because it's dumb move.
I think he'll be grateful for it too, and he'll go back to Buffalo. So
interesting. I think if Daboll's in the market, I honestly think he's a candidate for the Pats job.
Yeah, it would depend on. I think there would be other head coaching looks he gets, and I think that Giants job becomes almost untouchable.
Yeah, how you win? You take the Giants to the playoffs last year, win a playoff game, win Coach of the Year, then have a bad year full of injuries because both tackles got injured, Daniel Jones got injured, Darren Waller got injured. Then you're gonna fire that coach? That's such a Giants move. Oh my gosh!
It feels right, though, right? Like I don't think it's happened, but it feels like the most Giants thing imaginable.
Yep. No, you're right on that. You're right on the money. Just such a dumb move that happens. But like I wouldn't, if I saw that pop up, I'd be like, oh, look at the Giants doing Giant stuff now. Look at that.
So I think this is a pretty clean sweep Eagles here.
Yeah, Eagles clean sweep. I don't think they're gonna lose another game like that. They lost the Cardinals game last week. So
yeah, we got to blitz through this. What does Shane have?
Shane Eagles. Shane has Eagles.
Okay. So we've got Seahawks Cardinals now. Cardinals are looking good, but I think Seahawks win this because it has bigger implications for them. I need a big.
Shane is taking the Cardinals, and I am following suit here.
It's crazy.
I don't know. They play like that against the Eagles. I get their secondary isn't very good, but they have one of the better defensive lines in football. The Seahawks the Titans took the Seahawks to like the very last moment of that game last week, or not last week, 2 weeks ago. Who did the Seahawks play last week? Crap.
The Seahawks last week?
Yeah, who did the Seahawks play this last week? I can't remember.
The Seahawks played. They played the Steelers and lost.
Yeah, they got bundled by the Steelers. Yeah, give me the Cardinals here.
Okay.
Give me the Cardinals. The Cardinals beat the Steelers as well.
Bahuki also has the Seahawks in this one. Rams-Niners is next.
The banger.
The battle of the backups, because I don't think either of these teams are going to start their starters. Because Niners have the 1 seed locked. And I think the Rams have their spot locked as well. So I can't imagine either of them are putting meaningful players out here.
How many wins does the Rams have? Is it 8 or 9?
The Rams have 9.
Give me the Rams.
7.
Give me the Rams here.
I'm thinking the Rams as well. I think Sean McVay kind of owns Shanahan in normal regular season, right?
This is true.
So I'm taking the Rams here as well. Bahuki's taking the Rams.
And Shane is on full sweep on the Rams. Damn, none of the 49ers are going to
win. Okay, next we have Chiefs Chargers next. So I'm taking the Chiefs. Not really any contest here. I think they're going to play very angry. Now, Bahuki is interesting because his little highlight marker on his pick goes like this. So I'm intuiting the Chargers.
All right,
we'll call that a clerical error. We're putting him down for a Chargers pick here. And he's working tonight. He got called in, like good guy. He went into work, and so his punishment for that is he's getting the Chargers on his record.
Yeah, that's cool. Shane is taking Kansas City as well. He's basically said that KC is looking back on track with a win against Cincy. With a win against Cincy. If this were any other team besides the Chargers, I'd be tempted to take the other team. I don't think that they got back on track. Travis Kelce was basically invisible in that game and has been invisible for like 3 weeks now. I think that's a massive issue for that team. I know Rashid Rice has played really well at the end of this year. He's kind of had that end of the year rookie stretch where you're like, all right, this dude can play. But other than that, Isaiah Pacheco is pretty good too. Other than that, like people are dropping balls left and right. You can't trust Marquise Valdez-Scantling. You can't trust. Sky Moore is out. They got Richie James out there who you can't trust. They don't even want to play Kadarius Toney. I think that they have massive issues on the offensive side, and that's going to hurt them in the playoffs. But damn, they got a good running game and a good defense. But I don't think that that's going to win them a Super Bowl this year. So I will take the Chiefs, but Chiefs fans better be ready for a little bit of disappointment because I don't think that team is built to win a Super Bowl this year. Personally.
Mm-hmm. All right, next we have final game of the week, Bills-Dolphins, primetime, Super Bowl, not Super Bowl, maybe Super Bowl, playoff implications for sure. I'm going to take the Bills here. I think they're heating up at the right time. I think the Dolphins are cooling off at the wrong time, and the loss of Bradley Chubb does not bode well for this Dolphins defense. So, when Lamar puts up 5 touchdowns on you, I have to believe that Josh Allen can also put up 5 touchdowns on you. And I don't think that the Dolphins are going to put 5 touchdowns up on this Bills defense. So I'm going Bills here.
The Bills know how to play the Dolphins, as far as I know. This is going to be one of those games that you're like, Tua's 2-9. I'm pretty sure in his last 11 games against teams with a winning record. Bills have a winning record. That defense is playing a lot better. And yeah, I think like Josh Allen's got to get out of this like kind of passing slump that he's in at some point. And I think that this could be a good game for that to happen because I don't. You're right. Bradley Chubb's out. Jalen Phillips is out. Xavier Howard might be out. That's a lot of that team's defense. So I don't think Andrew Van Ginkel is going to stop Josh Allen from doing whatever he wants to his team.
No, I don't think that's gonna happen. Him and Christian Wilkins, done, I guess.
Christian Wilkins is a good player, really underrated football player, but he can't do it all by himself.
No. They've lost too many pieces.
Yeah.
Okay, so that wraps up our week 18 picks. Everybody, clear your Sundays because it is our last full Sunday of football. You deserve it. Hopefully none of you are playing fantasy championships week 18. I have one league that is, for some reason, I'm down. It's a 2-week championship. I'm down by 11 going into the week because I played CeeDee Lamb. So prayers up for me. I got a bunch of Niners on my team who aren't going to start, so I got some stuff to figure out. But as always, Stadium Rant signs off for another week. Thanks for joining us for the New Year's New Year, guys. There we go.
New Year's, guys.
Starting the year off with that's okay.
Words are hard.
They are. It's been a long week. It's only Tuesday. Yeah. But we'll catch you guys next Tuesday. We'll be talking about playoff matchups. We'll be talking about regular season awards. We got all kinds of good stuff coming up. And hopefully we'll have the whole gang here next Tuesday. So make sure and tune in. As always, I'm Louie. This is Tyler. Our other hosts, Blake and Shane, giving their input. And we'll go over our regular season records finally. We'll finally lock in this thing we've been going back and forth on all season. So from all of us, thanks for a great year, guys. 2023. Thanks for tuning in to all the regulars, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
One quick note, I just want to say thank you to all the other guest hosts and everybody else who has joined the show and participated on the show. It was a great year. Really happy to have you guys on, and happy to have you guys on again when you come by next time to talk some football. So definitely check out this show, other shows on Stadium Rant's YouTube channel, and make sure you hit that subscribe button. Peace out, everybody.